Are you guys having a hard time grinding rank this season? I'm sure you are. But why are you losing your match? Was it your mistake or your random teammate's mistake? It can be everyone's, even yours. A small mistake you or your teammate does can let your team lose the match. Watch this video and find out the mistake you have done. Hi guys, Kazuki here, and in this video we will be sharing with you guys 10 often noob mistakes that you should avoid to reach Mythical Immortal in season 29. As today is the 13th of July, we are here to draw for phase 1 of 10 epic skin winners. So let's move to the YouTube and select 5 random videos and then draw using the comment picker. Let's draw now, and here is our first winner, Nagawang Jigme. The second winner is Francisco Gonzalez, and here we have our third winner, Emilis Gunnikus. Roka Limbu, congratulations on being the fourth winner. And the last winner is II Kayam. All the winners email us at Kazukiofficialinfo@gmail.com for further information. The first point will be having high confidence when enemies gank and trying to defend. Have you ever felt like you can defend or try to outplay your enemies when 3 or more of them gank your lane? Okay, you are inside your turret, that's fine, but it doesn't mean that you are safe yet, especially if the enemies have CC that can stun you. You have high confidence that you can, but you ended up dying. This is a mistake gold laner always does. You can try defending when your team's backup is there, but if you're alone, just retreat and wait for your team's backup. Risking your life over a turret is not worth it, especially in the early game. It is one of the worst mistakes that you should avoid. Things are different in experienced lane, as experienced laner are almost all tanky heroes, and most of the time the enemies won't even dive in your turret to kill a tanky fighter. The next mistake will be roaming or rotating with no vision. Without proper vision, rotating can be a risky decision as you have a high chance of getting ganked by the enemy team, and it is better not to risk it. In the early game, mage, jungler and roamer always does this mistake. Especially mage is rotating to the experienced lane when your tank is in your gold lane. This can be very risky situation as the enemies might be already waiting for you. Tank roamer also has to be careful when rotating alone, as in the early game, the enemies might just take you down. Either go with your jungler or mage to counter them back when you encounter your enemy. The next mistake will be pushing the turret when enemies are all missing from the map. You eliminate your opponent and now you want to push the turret, but when you look at the minimap, you saw everyone missing. Should you push the turret or not? If you say no, you are right. If the enemies are missing from the map, I am pretty sure that they are coming for backup. And when they do, by the time you take down their turret, the enemy team might have already cornered you by blocking all your exits and can easily eliminate you. And like I have said, it's not worth risking your life over a turret. The next point will be not building items according to enemy synergy. This especially happens in the lower rank where players will never build a defense item even if the enemies are dominating your team hard. Or never buying anti-heal while the enemy has a Estes who won't stop healing their teammate. This is very wrong. When enemies have high magic damage, get magic defense and vice versa for physical damage too. Also buy anti-heal when necessary, and you can also buy small item components in the early game, such as buying dreadnought armor when the enemies have lance or saber as their jungler. Next mistake will be starting to throw the matches when your team are dominating. This is one of the mistakes that I often do a lot. Our team will be racking up the enemy in the early game, but as the match goes on, our team will split up and will start getting killed one after another while the enemies will start catching up with us. This happens because as we are dominating, our confidence level increases and start thinking that we can always win the fight even if it is a 2 versus 5 situation. Getting out of position once can lead to your team losing. You won't even notice that you did this mistake, but you will figure it out after you lose the match. Our next mistake will be initiating too early without checking your team's backup. This can especially happen with roamers. Roaming heroes such as Atlas, Tigreal and Grok can ultimate 5 enemies if the enemies are all together. Some players after seeing this opportunity will decide to dive in, but after stunning 5 enemies, there will be no one to follow up and make your efforts all useless. Why? Because you dive in without checking the map, and your teammates are all busy focusing on their objectives. I am sure every roamer has done this a couple of times. Next will be not changing or checking spells after copying pro setups. After the new emblem system, when we copy some pro player setups, we copied even their spell. And sometimes players just forget to change their spell. Most of the time it's retreat spell, and this can make the match really hard to play, such as playing with 2 retreat or playing experience lane with spell retreat. I hope Moonton does something about this, where the developers will separate the emblem, build and spell. The next mistake will be rotating the wrong lane. We all know that MM is one of the most important roles in the game, and the longer enemy's MM farm is delayed, the better your chance of winning. So the next time you choose a mage, jungler or roamer, fulfill your objectives and gain the gold lane more, making it difficult for the enemy MM to obtain gold and items. Assist your MM in taking the gold lane tower in the early game, and after your MM have enough farm, you guys as a team can start focusing on other lanes and clearing objectives. Your farmed MM can help you in the team fight, and we know that if your MM is ahead in items compared to the enemy's team, the game becomes much easier. Next will be a lineup with no tank. Let's say you start a solo match, you queue up and you are S5. Now you know what your role is, isn't it? Doesn't matter even if you want to play your favorite role. If you want to reach Mythical Immortal, you must pick a hero that will adjust your team, especially adjusting tank. A lineup with no tank is a team with no defense. We know it's crucial to have a good CC and defense to win the game. Who doesn't love to see a perfect Atlas set or that one Franco hook that changes the game pace? Be the guy who picks and adjusts according to your lineup when it's required. And at last will be having a high ego when your teammates suggest you. You are roaming and the enemy team has heroes like Dairoth and Estes. Your teammates are constantly telling you to buy Dominance Eyes, but you, because of your high ego, you decided not to buy Dominance and go for another item, and your team ends up losing. What can you learn from this is that sometimes it is good to listen to your teammates' suggestion, as it helps in building more synergy with your team, and you can also always suggest to your team while keeping your huge ego aside. You let your ego in the way, say bye to Mythical Immortal and say hi to Epic. Make sure to avoid the following mistakes that I have mentioned, and I am pretty sure that it will help you a lot in your gameplay. So that will be all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Keep supporting Kazuki Official.